Was a girl running in a group. She had a high-speed motor in a 40 Ford coupe. She had a racing cam and a Super George. Look at Buddy, hot rod and large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod.
After this weather today, I think it's time we talk. Let's you and I talk a bit. It got cold. It got real cold last night. But not so cold that we can't get some maintenance done on our car and prevent some damage from the cold weather. It's the first time, I told Charles when we started the show, it's the first time I remember it being this cold this soon. But it is what it is, Charles. I mean, we don't make the weather. We deal with it. And that's how it works. But I want you to do a few things for me. Think about these things. I'm going to tell you because I've got some really cool stuff that I've talked about for a lot of years. And people just, they listen. Antifreeze. If you haven't had your antifreeze checked, it's got to be good to 25 below or more. It's got to be. You got to get it checked. If it's not, tell them put some fresh antifreeze in it. I mean, give me a break. Tires. You need to make sure your tires. Here's a trick. The tire pressure sensor on your car is sensitive to about 4 pounds, 3 to 4 pounds. If you will take and have your tires aired up professionally by somebody that's got a nice gauge and can read it, and they do it, not the gauge at the gas station where half the time it doesn't work anyway, and when it's real cold it doesn't work at all. But you get into a shop, your mechanic, your regular guy, and let them air them up 2 pounds more than what's posted on the door.
Well, okay, so, but is this at like room temperature, basically? What temperature are we talking about then?
Right now, whatever you pull in the shop,
okay,
whatever the temperature is, it'll stabilize. It'll go to whatever they are, 32, 34. If they're supposed to be at 35, put them at 37.
Okay.
That way, when the cold weather hits and they shrink, it won't throw the tire light on. We're putting air in tires 5 times a day for the last 3 weeks because it got cold and the tires are shrinking. And people think, oh my God, I got a tire problem. No, you don't. You got a weather problem. Let's talk about cleaning the inside of the windshield. Now, this is my personal way to make sure that if your car has to sit outside, or even if it sits outside at work, just at work, you got to have the inside of the windshield spotless so that you can defrost it like lickety-split. Sometimes it won't even frost up if you do my little trick. You got to have 4 microfiber towels. You take the first 2 towels, and you take half alcohol and half water.
Like gin or what kind?
Well, gin would be all right. No, I waste a good gin. Come on. No, use rubbing alcohol or whatever. You need.
So the cheap gin, you're saying?
Yeah, cheap gin.
Cheap vodka.
Half alcohol and half water in a bucket. Get your towel wet, wring it out real good, and wash that inside of that window with that stuff. I mean, do it twice if you have to. But the inside of the windshield, you scrub it with this thing. And then you wipe it clean with the other microfiber towel. Now, after you do that, you take your other 2 microfiber towels. Geez, oh, Pete. Microfiber towels. Come on, George. Windshield glass cleaner. And you go and you clean it now the way you ordinarily would with your Windex or whatever you use. Something that doesn't have to be a lot of alcohol involved. You clean it and wipe it again after you're done cleaning it. And you watch the difference in the frosting of your windshield. You pay attention. You'll like it. It works good. A little note on your washer solvent for the squirts, everybody calls them their squirts. People come into me all day long and say, hey, my squirts aren't working. Anyway, it's the windshield washer nozzles. To make sure that you don't freeze up your windshield solvent, because if you bought your windshield washer solvent at a big box store, that stuff's only good at 10 or 15 below. Some of it's not even good for that. You have to go to a real parts store and buy a real windshield washer solvent that's good to 30 below. And put that in, because otherwise the only cure for that is to park it inside in a heated garage for overnight to get your nozzles back. But they're going to freeze up again because you still got that cheap windshield solid.
Let me ask then, if we're not sure, what do you think about additives or something like that?
Well, they make concentrate. I have ordered, if you go to a real parts store like Van Sennis, that's Bumper to Bumper Auto Value, that's one of our sponsors. You go to them, they've got these little bottles that you add to and it makes it stronger. So you can use up the stuff you have. Read the instructions on that bottle. I keep a bottle of that in my drawer at work.
That's something maybe to do before it gets cold, right around the time of year.
Let's get it in there.
Okay.
Let's get it in there because it will freeze. Trust me. Okay, we have to talk about probably one of my pet peeves, but I do it every year. I don't know why, but I do. I make a kit for getting snowed in. I make a kit for getting stranded. And in that
it's on
kit,
your scooter though, right?
No.
On the car?
On the car. In that kit, there's some bottled water, and there's some rock salt that if I get stuck, I can throw it on the tire, under the tires. It's just, and a shovel in case I get stuck, just to make sure that I don't get stuck, or if I do, I can get out of it. And that's not I'm telling you, all you need is a cardboard box or a wooden box or one of those plastic tubs to put this stuff in. You need blankets. You got to have blankets. Because if that car dies on you and you got to wait for a tow truck, it's going to get cold. All right?
So can I interject here? So one of the things, my grandfather was always big on carrying like sand or kitty litter as opposed to the rock salt.
Well, either way, you can do it either way. Sand or kitty litter.
You have a little, like basically, you don't need that much. Like a coffee can's worth might be enough just to get you through.
They have some new stuff now, Chuck. If you go to, like I say, a Bumper to Bumper Auto Value store, they have this stuff that it's instant traction that you can pour on where the tires are, and it just melts everything in front of the tire. You got to try that. I have not tried it. I can't recommend it because I don't know if it works correctly or not. But they have I saw this new stuff, and I'm going to try it. In that kit, you're also going to need jumper cables or one of those little jumper boxes, and it's got to be charged. So you got to charge it up at home, put it in the box. Every once in a while, take it out, charge it up again. And you got to have that because if you don't need it, somebody next to you might need it. And you got to take care of the people around you. We all got to work together in this weather. It's garbage. This weather, I hate cold weather. I absolutely hate it. I would love to be doing this show from somewhere down south, maybe Mexico or somewhere. I don't know. Keep your gas tank half full. Please. Leave no room. There's so many different evaporative emissions and stuff tests that will not run, and that's good. Because you don't have if you don't have a full tank. And there's some that won't run unless you have a low tank. But you don't want a low tank, not in this weather. Especially if you don't know the whereabouts or the origin of your fuel at this gas station. If it's not an Amoco or a Shell or Exxon, it's a Joe Blow's gas station and he's selling gas.
Okay, so same question about additives then. Do you recommend additives when it gets this cold, or is it good to do that once in a while?
They make additives. You can put one in your tank every time you fill. They cost $2 or whatever. It's peace of mind. I'm telling you. It's absolutely peace of mind. Keep it full though. Keep it at least half full. It's just, these are things that I don't want to see anybody getting stuck anymore.
You know, I mean, before you say that, I made the mistake the other day. I said, well, I'll fill up in the morning. And then so this morning I went to go get gas. I said, what were you thinking? You made me go fill up. Do you know what I mean? Like one of those things where I could have, had I been a half tank of gas, I wouldn't have had to stop today. I could have waited till it warmed up.
Yep.
So again, same idea as you think, get gas in the morning.
Oh, it was cold this morning. You had to stand outside?
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Oh, that had to be chilly, Chuck. Chilly Chuck. Well, that's our boy. That's why he's an engineer. All right. We get back to the car business here and talk about what's going on. And there's some, everybody's got everything to say about the new regime coming in, the old regime going out. I read you a couple stories about the Belvedere plant in Illinois, and
I just wanted to mention we also had a batch of bankruptcies. So, for instance, Canoe, we remember them. They were building the big boxy SUV, the electric SUVs. They're initiating layoffs as bankruptcy looms. You mentioned the Belvedere plant, Stellantis.
Stick a fork in Stellantis. I'm worried about them.
And there's stuff going on with the robo taxis with Waymo. People are pulling funding out of there.
Oh yeah.
So
I've got a whole story that I'm researching, and I'll probably have it for you next week about all the different artificial or autonomous driving systems that have nothing to do with they're actually working with car companies. They're not building cars. They're building autonomous systems.
Right. And they just need a car to plug it into, basically.
And they're laying people off
right.
because the demand is gone. All right. California pledges, the land of fruits and nuts, every EV buyer a rebate if Trump kills the $7,500 tax credit. But it does not include Tesla.
Interesting.
And why Gavin? Well, I know why Gavin Newsom did that.
Wow.
Because he's a Democrat.
Yeah. Well, no, because he's still mad at Elon.
No, they're all mad at Elon for moving out of California. He moved most of it out. He's still got a plant there. He still builds cars there. Why can't they be nice to the guy? Because he's with the wrong guy? Come on. Get the politics out of car business. Get it out of my car business. California Governor Gavin Newsom, my boy, he's the inmate in charge of the asylum, is promising to step in with a state electric car tax credit in the U.S. if the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump repeals the federal subsidy after he takes office next year, which he has pledged to do, Charles. He doesn't want it. And Elon Musk said, go ahead and do it.
Well, and it was interesting, because Elon's response was, I have a good car. I don't need subsidies.
Exactly. People want a Tesla.
Right.
The other people need that incentive because those cars are, I told you, Tesla was going to be far and away the number one electric car. And it always will be. And you'll be able to, but you know what? He's got some other stuff in the fire. I will talk about it, not this week, but can you imagine a car that runs on water, Chuck?
Well, I did have some other Tesla news about a new potential vehicle coming out next year.
Yeah.
There's a Tesla executive says that they're going to have a sub $30,000 model coming out next year.
Uh-huh.
Which, again, same idea. We talked about this idea of what's keeping people from electric, if it makes sense in their lifestyle, is that cost. And now if you get down below the 25 or you get 30,000, that's now...
You'll sell more.
You'll sell more.
But there's still... the majority of the people in this country do not want an electric car because it doesn't fit their lifestyle.
Right. Again, if it fits your lifestyle,
it's a hassle. It's a hassle to find some place to plug it in, or have a plug-in at your house, and you got to worry about that catching fire. Keep it out in the driveway, but then you got to charge it outside, and they don't charge well in the winter. I'm telling you, Newsom, a prominent Democrat, no kidding, and frequent critic of Republican politics, said in a statement Monday that he will propose rebooting a program California phased out in 2023.
Is that cash for clunkers?
There's cash for nutcases, to provide EV buyers relief in lieu of the $7,500 tax credit targeted by Trump. But Newsom's credit proposal does not include Tesla. And I think that's going to be unconstitutional.
Right.
That's going to be wrong.
Well, again, how do you justify picking and choosing like that?
Tesla CEO Elon Musk, a close Trump advisor, sharply criticized the idea of barring the automaker from EV subsidies, writing on his platform X in response to even through Tesla. Even though Tesla is the only company who manufactures their EVs in California, this is insane. And that's right. He's a California plant.
Well, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use my soapbox early this show.
All right.
Because here's the thing. If you really believe the whole idea of EVs and being green and being good for the environment, Tesla being the biggest seller of EVs, you're going to say, look, I'm going to put my political differences aside for the greater good of the environment. Absolutely. I want everybody to, if you really believe that having EVs is going to save the planet,
why would you get stinky?
Why would you play politics and make sure that people couldn't get the number one selling, which proves that one act debunks their whole philosophy.
It does. It debunks all that Green New Deal philosophy. A matter of fact, I mean, who sells more cars in California than Tesla? Nobody.
Right.
Everybody buys Teslas in California. Why would you take the rebate away from them? Just to change that, to make sure that Tesla fails in California? They're built in California. Your California people work at a plant.
Well, again, you spend $5 billion to generate some jobs, and now this guy generated jobs.
Yeah.
And then you chased him out of this. You chased him out. For one. You chased him to Texas. And now you want to chase out the remaining jobs?
Now you want to change out the plant. The plant. You want to change? He'll move it. Don't trust me. He's got the money. He'll just say, "That's it. We're out of here. See ya."
Well, and they've been very adversarial for a while. I mean, ever since when he went to go move to Texas and all that sort of thing, they even had like a leaving tax and things like that.
Oh, so they the exit tax.
Right. So, but again, that just kind of proves that it's not about you would put your differences aside for the greater good if you thought this was going to save the environment. And it was,
Well, if you're worried about the environment, what are you doing to Tesla like that?
Right.
What is wrong with you? You're a phony. I'm telling you right here, right now, I'm accusing Gavin Newsom of being a phony. That's my opinion.
You wouldn't be the first one.
It's my opinion only. And remember, everything said here is the opinion of the guy in the car show. It has nothing to do with Gerard Media. But I'm sure if I asked them, they'd probably say the same thing. But I can't do that. I got to go with my opinion. And you got to, so if you're going to throw something, throw a snowball, throw it at me.